everyone. Welcome to the Do the Thing podcast. This is your host, Stacey Lauren. Well, you guys, I am so excited and I feel honestly incredibly honored to bring on my next guest. She's someone that is in the Do the Thing community, and we're in a lot of other similar communities. So we are definitely my people, where we have similar goals and interests. And I think that's why the things that we're doing are so aligned. And I've gotten to see her journey through the different groups that we're in. And we actually were even in an accountability group together, where she's been inspiring me through her just being a constant go-getter in her life and the things she's doing. And I'm just so excited to bring her on because I've been wanting to hear her story and just all of the amazingness that she's doing in life and what she's doing for other people. And now I get to do it with you guys. So I am welcoming Janna to the show. Hey, Janna.
Hi, Stacey. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Yay. I'm so excited to do this with you. Let's start off, and I'd love to hear about you. If you can just share your story.
Okay, thanks. Well, I want to preface all of this with that I'm here because of a panic attack. And this panic attack happened about 20 years ago already. I was going to buy a building to put the curves in, and this building was in a nearby town, and this little town needed something like this so bad. So I put the offer in, and there were two other offers for this building, and the realtor, who I happen to know, said, "I think you'll be getting it." She had the inside scoop. And so I was excited, and I was nervous, and excited and nervous. And as the day got closer and closer and closer, these fears and doubts and this voice in my head was driving me nuts. And 10 minutes before she was going to present this offer to the seller, I called her and I said, "Don't present my offer." And there was just silence on the end of the phone. She didn't say anything at all. And then she said, "Okay." And then we hung up. And I sat down. I was at work at the time. I sat down and I said, what the flip just happened? I had no clue. I had never had a panic attack before, but I was sweating and my heart was palpitating. And I was shocked. I was absolutely in shock of what had happened. My dream goal was this close. What I thought was my dream goal was this close. And I sat in that chair and I thought, what happened? And it has been my journey and my goal from that moment till now to find out what has happened. And I found out a lot along the way. And because of that panic attack, I'll just...
Oh my gosh, what a way to start too. I feel like I'm so compelled into everything. Yeah, I would love to know. Yeah.
Because of that panic attack, I have gotten over so many of my fears, but of course, I'm human. I still have fears. But I've started a multi-7-figure per year Amazon company. I've co-authored 2 anthology books. I did write my own book, the Fear Workbook, which I never told anybody about because I was still in my, I don't know if I'm going to tell anybody about this type thing. And 6 years ago, when I was 59, I started running 5Ks and half marathons because I thought I'm not going into 60s in the shape I was in. So I started doing that. And then I had also completed the Jack Canfield Success Principles training. So I am a trainer for that as well. So those are things that have happened to me and for me in the last 20 years.
I love
my new thing. I'm starting a new brand, Suggies. It's an all natural sugar craving reducing supplement brand. So that's my new baby. I've got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I don't think people realize sometimes how the worst thing that you think can happen to you kind of turns into the best thing because it sort of shakes you open, right? Where you almost don't even have a choice but to either retreat and sit on the couch for the rest of your life or learn it, discover it, and have curiosity and then make something happen with it.
Absolutely. Yes, you're so right. I could have sat in that chair and thought, I'm going to work at this job forever, and not be curious about what happened. I have a library now of close to 200 nonfiction, mindset, and neuroplasticity, and all those kind of things. And I read every one of those books, and some of them 2 times. And yet there was still this feeling, and it was honest to goodness, just this past summer when someone said, you're focusing too much on the inner critic, the mental monsters. You are the hero of your own life. You better be focusing on that. You have already beat all these other things. And it was a eureka light bulb type thing. It's like, oh my God, that is the thing that I had been looking for in these books for years. You take it on, you get to be the hero of your life. And so that my affirmation is I create my life today. And I have been saying that for 15 years. But it was not until this past summer that it really took on that true full meaning of I really do, and I am the hero. It's not, I'm aware that I have this crazy inner critic and all these fears and doubts, but it's that I'm the hero and I get to slay that thing.
I love how you're showing people that by you kind of having this curiosity with yourself and then being able to slowly put yourself out there, right? You started with the books and being able to write the fear workbook. But then I love that, and I know this wasn't your words, but I just feel like I love that you were then scared to put it out there, right? Because you're like, I wrote the book, here it is. But what's great about that is that's why you're so good about writing about fear and writing about the mental monsters, is because you're going through it. I mean, that's what I say a lot. It's our biggest insecurity is the thing that helps the most people, because once we're aware that we have it and then we're taking action to work through it, then the people that haven't gotten as far as we have yet are able to actually understand it versus someone that maybe studied it for 20 years in school and has no concept of what we're going through. And I love that you're really showing that through everything that you've done and everything that you're saying.
Thanks. Yeah, because you're right. It is a step by step. And it has been 20 years. And I can think back the 15 years ago, what happened to me then that made me realize, oh my gosh. And then you get to go the next step. Because, for instance, a 15-year ago type revelation was I had had that panic attack and I was aware of it and I was reading all these books. But then one day I thought, oh my God, it's like I have this wolf in my head that's chasing me back to my comfort zone. I was starting to put a name and a face and a personality to this inner critic. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wow, that's so cool, because then if I say it's a wolf or something like that, then I can tell, shut up, knock it off. Give it some orders other than it always just giving me this feeling of fear and doubt and stuff. Mm-hmm. I have my inner critic right here. I'm going to show you. I love props and everything like that. This is what I got about 15 years ago. And see right now, this is Frankie. He turns into Frankenstein. He's happy in his comfort zone. He's fine. All is chill. And pretty soon, if I think I'm going to start doing something a little bit out of his comfort zone, he gets a little bit like this. He's like, what are you doing? You don't know how to do that. And then if I'm really taking bigger steps, it just turns into a full blown. So I love having physical things that I can look at and relate to and tell, shut up, knock it off. So you get the Frankie to Frankenstein thing.
Yeah. It's almost like you're giving it its own home, right? Where you're disconnecting yourself from that and almost becoming its ally instead of having it be your enemy.
Yeah. Yes. Both of those things. It becomes your friend because you're aware of it. And if it's going to live in you and with you, it might as well be your friend. But it has to start doing what you want it to do. When I had run a half marathon just this past Saturday, and it was cold. That was a struggle. It's early for marathons, half marathons here in Minnesota. So I didn't do a real good training. So the voice, Frankie, was saying about halfway through, there's a medical tent up there. You could just ditch out and get a ride back. And it's at those times that's so nice that you can just be aware that that feeling is coming from Frankie, and it's like, knock it off. Knock it off. This really sucks, but I said I'm doing it, so I'm doing it. So yeah, small steps, just these small steps.
So where does the Amazon business fit in all of this?
Thanks. Back in 2012, when I was still at work, we had an explosion at the job, and the paper mill that I worked at closed. I worked then until August of that year. The explosion happened in May, and I could stay there until August. Then they decided that that was it. And that is something, well, I had always wanted to do, is have my own business. The exercise place, that panic attack moment happened prior to that. And so when I got let go from that job, I was at home and I thought, this is a perfect opportunity to see if Amazon really works. And I did get a coach, just a one-on-one coach, learned what I needed to learn. And it's been history ever since then. So yeah, I'm in it. My husband's in it. Our son does it. And one of our daughters is doing it part-time as well.
And what is that business?
We sell hardware. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm starting my new brand, because I don't care about hardware. But it is. It's been great. It's been great.
I love it because you know what to do. You have the skills, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, something's still calling you that you want more. And now when you create this new brand, you're going to be able to use all the stuff that you learned from this other one that maybe you're not as passionate about, but is the money. And now you get to almost kind of feel more fulfilled because you're following more of what you're really wanting.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new brand. I'm waiting for my 5th set of samples because everything they have sent me so far has not been what I want. Mm-hmm. What it is it's a spray, and it's a sugar craving reducing spray. You spray it on your tongue and it dulls the sugar receptors. And so you can spray this, take a bite of cookie, and a cookie is like, yeah, why bother? It tastes like sawdust. So I'm waiting. Hopefully the 5th round will be the winner.
Oh, it sounds like a magic pill without having to swallow it. You're just spraying it. I love that.
Right, exactly. So, and then along with that, I do want to really focus on other sugar craving reducing supplements and herbs and things like that, because I know that is a big problem with the diabetes and insulin resistance and pre-diabetes and all the things. So that's my focus of the brand Suggies.
How did that idea get formed? Where did it start?
Oh my gosh. I had tried something similar last summer, and I did some research into the actual herb that's in, I believe it's an herb, or I'm thinking if that's the technical term for this product or not. And I thought, oh my God, at that time I'm 64. It's like, I'm 64 years old and I had never heard of this before. I did a lot of research on it. It is for real and all this stuff. And then one morning I woke up and this name dropped in my head, Suggies. And I mean, my eyes opened and this name for this brand was in my head, just like that. So I got up, got on the computer to see if the name was available, the URL, the .com. And yes, it was. And so that's how it is. And then I've got a picture that my granddaughter colored that I want to share. So it's the little gal fighting her sugar monster. It's Suggie, the sugar monster. And we're going to slay it, defeat it. But yeah.
I love it because it's like all the dots have connected, right? It ties into all of the other stuff you care about with even fear and the mental monster and all of it, because the more you're able to manage your sugar, It's like the more clarity you have, you're able to manage your emotions. So it's almost like you're connecting all the dots now with this brand.
Absolutely. I don't care what diet you pick, low carb, fasting, low calorie, whatever they are, they're not going to work unless you have the mindset part of it right. And the mental monsters, the sugar monster, unless you are aware that that is what you're fighting against, I just think it's a helpless battle, and the yo-yo dieting forever continues.
Yeah, I think that's incredible that you're able to help people, give them the support they need when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really loving the idea that I can combine my passion for the mindset work that I love, and then to have this name drop into my head. It's like, okay, this has to be. And then to find out about something that I had never heard of before. And like I said, I'm older. So it's like all of these things are coming together, and it feels like it's meant to be.
Where do you think you get your motivation from? Because I feel like when you have a successful Amazon business, it's family run. How cool is that? It's a dream, right? And you've written books, you're part of communities, you have a community, and then you've created this. Where does that even, some point people might just be like, okay, I feel good. I'm going biking now or whatever it is.
I totally get it, because even the Amazon business, I tell one of the daughters, she says, how come you keep doing it? And it's like, I like to crochet and knit. However, that is not challenging. And I don't know exactly why. I just know from very young on, at 10 years old, I had a paper route. And I had that for several years. And then we moved, and so I didn't have the paper route anymore. But it has always been something. And I really feel that I got it from my mom and dad, because they were always doing the thing, trying to do the Shackley or Amway, or my mom made beautiful dolls. I know you can't see them, but they're lace draped porcelain dolls that I have of hers in the cupboard. And my dad, he was a woodworker. So they were always doing something to try to supplement some income. And it must have just been being exposed to that. That is where I picked it up, because I had always done those things, started little things, thought this will make some money. Oh my gosh. I made a big rug loom, a 3x5, and I figured out a way I can make a rug in probably 2 hours, to cut the fabric and weave it in this special way that I weave it. I mean, I've always been doing this kind of thing, and very, very few of those things have I ever finished. I've always started things and never finished them, never saw them all the way through. And it was after I had the panic attack, and after a short time, I realized I had been doing that same thing my whole life. I would get to a certain point, and then my comfort zone, what I thought were my upper level abilities, would just shut me down, because it's like, you don't know what you're doing. Well, what's next? I don't know. So I realized that I had been doing that my whole life. And now it's great. Now I know that it's the mental monsters, and I tell them to knock it off.
Yeah, I think it's so good, because you have gone through it, you're going through it, and then you're able to, like I said earlier, that awareness, and then you're able to make the steps and be able to help. Okay, this ties in now to my life's mission, is helping people find their voice and release it in the world. So I'd love to just kind of talk about that a little bit more, and what gets in your way, what's helping you, all of the stuff around that.
Thank you. Because I was in the challenge, and it was enlightening, because like you said earlier, everything is a tiny step and a realization that I'm doing this. And actually, I think what is in my way is lack of being prepared, because I know this stuff and I can talk about it, but I don't take the time to prepare anything to make it happen. I had thought I'm going to go the brand road, the physical products brand. And I thought, because then I won't really have to say anything. I'll just, hey, here's this great product. But I realized too that once again, it is not the product that's going to help you. It's what's going on in your mind that is going to make or break everything. So finding my voice is, just using it and not be afraid to use it. And I hate to say stuff like that because it feels hypocritical. Well, I'm fighting my monsters. But yet, it's so silly that once you take the couple steps, once you get ready to do the thing, once you do it, it's not so scary. It isn't. Mm-hmm. And I really feel that is, your next God-given step to take you where you're supposed to be.
And so you have the Fear workbook, and then what other books have you? I feel like you've done another book, right?
I co-authored 2 others with some gals. The one is The Year the World Paused, mm-hmm. and the other one is Get Past Your Shit.
Oh, nice. That's good. So when you co-authored, did you do a chapter in those books?
Correct. Yep. It was just a chapter in each. Okay. Well, then they get the right people to promote it and everything like that. And it gets to be a bestseller then for a little bit.
That's so fun. Yeah, I have an idea if you want to get it. I love giving ideas.
Okay, yes, love it.
Okay, I think it'd be so fun, especially with the Fear book or maybe even your chapter with the Get Past Your Shit book, is if you take a chapter or even just a page from the book and you go on video and you read it and then you just say, this is how this relates to, and it could be for Suggies directly. This is how it relates to Suggies, or this is how it relates to your mental monsters. It could be just kind of fun just to kind of see where that goes, just so you know.
That's really interesting. That would seem kind of easy thing to do in a way. That's a great idea. Thank you.
Because I know you're someone that I just, every time I see you and anytime you're doing whether it's a walking video, and I love your in the snow walking videos or in Find Your Voice in your office. And you do this for everyone. We're laughing with you, we're crying with you, the whole thing. So yeah, whenever you're able to speak about what you're doing, I just am so excited to see that evolve and the people that you're already impacting, but then kind of just the next step.
Thanks. Yeah, because I'm on day 54 of my 90-day challenge to myself to create this sugar craving reducing brand. And, it's not set in stone if it doesn't happen in 90 days, and it might not if the manufacturer doesn't come through with what I need. But I've got that on Instagram and kind of documenting my story there. And so just trying to make it happen.
You're recording videos doing that?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I was recording videos at times, and then I would just do some posts and try to find something that would get some traction, that people would enjoy. But I'm still in that little corner of Nowheresville on Instagram.
Yeah. I would love to have you just give advice to people on how you're so accomplished with all these things that you've done, with the books that you've written, with the amazing, successful Amazon business, and now creating this new brand, running a half marathon, all this stuff. So what is your secret? How can you help them do the thing?
Oh, gosh, this is old and it's cliche. I'm sure it's feel the fear and do it anyway is probably, well, that's the last part of this whole thing. But if you have a goal, I do believe that you're given a goal with the intention that you'll also be given the way to make that goal happen. And learning how to walk, talk, ride a bike, drive a car is not necessarily easy. Neither will it be getting to that goal. Decide that you're going to reach it. Make that decision you're going to reach it. Realize you have mental monsters that don't want you to reach it. They want to stay in their comfort zone. You tell them to shut up, and you just keep going step by step after that goal. And you absolutely will get to that goal.
And then this might be a secondary question, because I wanted that. And now I want one more thing. What would be your number one piece of advice for people on doing the thing?
Find out who your inner critic is, are in all the different areas of your life. Give them names, faces, personalities, I prefer them to be dogs or animals because they're trainable and I expect them to do what I say. I don't make it a person because I'm kind of an introvert and I might listen to that other voice. So yeah, find out who and what is in your way, give them a name, face, and personality, and tell them to shut up and get on with getting on.
And I'd love to hear what's coming alive for you right now as we're talking.
That I can communicate the information that I do have, that I so never speak of. It never comes out. It's always just locked in here. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to actually kind of prove it to myself, the realization that, hey, I can do this.
I think it's so good for people to hear because a lot of times when they see someone like you, right, they'd be like, oh, I could never do that. I could never start a successful Amazon business. I could never run a half marathon. I could never insert everything you've done, write a book, all of that. And I just feel like there needs to be more language around this, that you're doing all these things, but it's not this perfectly curated thing that everyone thinks.
This is who you are. This is who you are.
Yeah. So tapping into that.
Yes, absolutely. And telling things like this to shut up.
Oh my gosh, Janna, this is so much fun. Thank you so much for coming on.
It's been a blast. I absolutely loved it.
Yay. And please share where everyone can follow along with you and your Suggies journey and anything else you want to share too.
Thanks. A website is icreatemylifetoday.com. And on Instagram, it's Crush Sugar Cravings Now.
Thank you for all you do and just for being what you are in the world.
Thank you, Stacey. I appreciate it.
And for you guys, do the thing. Don't wait for opportunity. Create it. And hey guys, have you checked out my free Facebook group yet? Go to dothethingcommunity.com.